Alright, so this is going to be one of the toughest videos I've had to film because it's going to be an experience that caused a lot of emotions in my life, negative and positive. But I think that there are a lot of guys out there especially that are going through a similar situation where they feel hopeless and lost and all the negative things that you can think of. But this video is going to be about what getting kicked out of the military taught me about life. So yes, you guys heard that right. I did end up getting kicked out of the military 3 months before I was supposed to get out contractually, which was very heart-wrenching, very gut-wrenching moment in my life, because at the same time I was going through a divorce. And I'm just throwing bombshells in this video already, crazy. But yes, I was married. I did go through a divorce. I will talk about that maybe in another video, but that's not the point of this video, right? Like I'm just telling you guys that to add some context to the situation, because I wasn't just getting kicked out, I was also going through another thing that was probably on the same level of difficulty, if not, at least close to it. But what getting kicked out of the military taught me about life. One of the first things that it taught me, the first thing that it taught me was that you have to have extreme accountability for every single thing that happens in your life, or you will be miserable. All right, if you live your life blaming external things for your circumstances, you won't have the drive to get up and change those circumstances, because you're just sitting around blaming everything and everybody else for what happened to you, when you can be getting up and trying to change that situation for yourself. All right. When the whole thing was going on, for those of you who don't know, it's a process getting kicked out of the military. They don't just tell you to pack your bags and go home. There's a lot of paperwork. You can either choose to fight it in court, or you can take a plea deal, like in the real world, and then they process you out, and you got to go through punishment, which is restriction. I won't talk too much about that stuff. You guys can look that up. But restriction is basically 45 days of you having to report. You don't really have a lot of freedom to go outside and do things. You can't go to the gym, things like that. I don't want to waste too much time talking about that. But just to let you guys know, that shit does suck, all right? Going through that shit does suck. You do feel like I don't even want to compare it to jail, because it's not jail, but you do feel like a prisoner some days, for sure. And rightfully so, if you did something that you weren't supposed to do that put you in that position, right? And that was something that I had to accept and grasp really quickly when that first happened to me. Because if I had just blamed everybody else for what was happening and why it was happening, I don't think I would be here today. I really don't. I genuinely do not think that I would be here today, because I would have just been weak. I would have just given up on life, and I didn't want that. So when these things happened and I was getting ready to make my way out of the military, I had to understand that every single thing that happened in my life, obviously the things that you have control of, like when you're a little kid. But anyways, you guys know what I'm trying to say. Everything that happened in my life, positive and negative, was a reaction to a choice that I made. And there weren't losses. I didn't lose. There were no L's in my life. Everything was just a lesson. Every single thing that happened to me in my life was a lesson. And the fact that I was able to accept that was able to carry me throughout the whole entire situation. All right, throughout the whole entire scenario of me getting booted basically from the military. And I think that today, especially, a lot of people, this video is going to be targeted more towards the young guys, of course, but a lot of people lack that self-accountability. Well, I don't even want to say self-accountability, but the ability to it is self-accountability. The ability to understand that, or not even understand, like you don't even have to understand, but just the blind faith or blind belief that the things that happen in your life are a byproduct of the choices that you make. You don't understand how much control that actually gives you in life. Because if you're somebody who's telling yourself that everything that happens is your fault, why wouldn't you be more motivated to make things better? Why wouldn't you be more motivated to make a change in your life? You would, because your awareness that the things that happen around you are a byproduct of what you decide to do in your life. If you're somebody right now who feels hopeless, lost, no sense of direction, and you're blaming external things for that, that's the problem. That is the problem, because you're giving control to everybody and everything else but yourself. And you should not be doing that. You are yourself. Your soul is in your vessel. Granted, there are obviously things, because I'm not going to sit here and say that every single thing is your fault. Of course not. There are obviously things that happen outside of you that aren't your fault. But for the most part, for 99% of things, you have the ability to change your circumstances. All right, I'm gonna give you more of a realist take, because there's gonna be a lot of people who say every single thing that happens in your life is your fault, which is, I don't believe that. But for a majority of the things that happen in your life, you have the ability to control them. Okay? That was one thing that getting kicked out taught me about life, was self-accountability, taking responsibility for everything that happens in your life, taking control, giving yourself that control, not giving that control to other sources, giving yourself the ability to get up and make a change. That was one thing. The second thing that getting kicked out of the military taught me is that being disciplined will build durability in your life. And now, a lot of you are gonna probably ask what that means. You can kind of make an assumption. Being disciplined, doing the things you don't want to do when you need to do them, builds durability in your life. And durability, if you know what durability means, your iPhone is pretty durable. You can drop it. If it has a case on it, chances are it's probably not gonna crack. Your car, I don't know if that's the best analogy, but your car is pretty durable unless you obviously hit something going fast or something hits you. Like, okay, maybe the car was not the best analogy, but let's just say the phone, for example, right? If you have a case on your phone, even if you don't have a case on your phone, the new iPhones nowadays, if you drop them, chances are they're not gonna crack. They might crack, but they're not gonna break, right? They're gonna have a little crack, but they're still gonna function. That's durability. And you can build that in your life when you have discipline, right? Because when you do the things that you know you need to do, when you don't want to do them, and life hits you with an unexpected setback, you have already built something in your mind that tells you, like, I can do this, I can get through this. This is nothing. Even if it is something, even if it's something major, you can get through it. If you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, if you keep waking up every day with intention, right? And I think that's also something that is really, really lacking in today's society, is durability. A lot of people don't have durability. They want to give up right away. They don't want to strive for more. They don't want to better their circumstances. They want external forces to make their life better, instead of them getting up, finding something internally to drive them to want more. And that comes from being a durable person, because the moment The moment something hard happens to somebody that isn't durable, they're ready to call it quits. You're like, damn, life sucks. Like, I'm good. If nothing good's ever gonna happen for me, right? But if you're somebody who's durable, if you're somebody who can fall a bunch of times and not break, you might have a crack or two here and there, but you won't break. You'll still function. You can get through life. You will have the drive to get up and strive for more. And that was something that getting kicked out of the military really showed me, because during that time when I was trapped in my room and I couldn't go out and I couldn't work out, I still worked out in my room. I made it work. I still focused on my fitness. I still focused on my health. I still focused on my mind and my soul and my body, everything. I still focused on all that, and I was able to get through that. And then 2 years later, after the situation happened, I was able to appeal my discharge from the military, and I was able to get it overturned. So I was able to get through that whole scenario, that whole situation, get kicked out, move back in with your parents, lose everything that you worked for years of your life, everything that you sacrificed for, lose it all. Still show up every single day. Still wake up with intention every single day. And now granted, I'm not a perfect man. I had days where I wanted to give up too. I did. I'm not gonna sit here and cap and say that every single day was a great day and every single day I had motivation. Like, no, there were a lot, probably 50% of the days where I did want to give up, right? But I was durable. I had to fight that in my mind. In the days that I wanted to give up, and I said, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep putting one foot in front of the other, because if I continue to do that, something good is going to happen for me. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Because if you're somebody who can show up in the world and do good and be good, even when life is hitting you like a Mack truck, man. Because that's what happened to me. Life hit me like a truck. I lost everything. I went into crippling debt. I couldn't get my education anymore because of everything. I felt shame, guilt, like the emotions for the last couple of years were crazy. Regardless of that, I still did a bodybuilding competition. I still became a fitness coach at a high-end gym. I still accomplished things that I wanted to accomplish regardless of what set me back, because I knew that one day if I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, that it was going to pay off. And it did. It did. And now I'm somebody who believes in a higher power, so I thank God for that every day. And I'll thank God before I thank myself. But God also gave me the power to be a durable individual. And you can find that within yourself. So today, now life is much better for me. I'm back in school. I'm getting taken care of. I got everything that I worked for originally, but I had to earn it. I had to earn that back. I had to go through a lesson of life and learn self-accountability, learn how to become durable through my discipline before I was able to earn everything back. And that was a lesson that getting kicked out of the military and that situation taught me. And I think a lot of young men especially would be in a better place if you took those two things and applied them to your life. Self-accountability for everything or most things that happen in your life within your control, of course. And building durability through discipline. Becoming a hardened person up here by working on yourself down here. And up here too. Work on yourself down here, but also work up here. Put down the phone for a little bit. Talk to yourself. Have a conversation with yourself. Most people don't have conversations with themselves. They don't even know who they are. And that was another thing that situation allowed me to do, was to have conversations with myself and find out who I am. Am I somebody who's going to give up because I think I've lost everything, even though I have time to figure things out? Because I'm not somebody who believes like we don't have time, like we have to be in a, like, no, we granted things happen, of course, but you have time to figure it out. You do have time to figure it out. Your life isn't over because of a mistake or a setback. It's not. But you have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and find the positive things in your life. And you will earn what you deserve, because the shit that you want is not going to just be given to you because you think you deserve it. You have to earn it. You have to have the self-talks. You have to be accountable to yourself and understand where you messed up and where you can be better and what you have to change moving forward. And I'm extremely grateful for that experience, because I learned so much about myself that I didn't think I would know. I didn't think I would know. I would have never known that I was this durable. I would have never known that I could have gone through a situation like that if it hadn't happened. And I was able to earn everything back because I became the person that deserved that second chance. Be that person that deserves that second chance. Get up every day with intention. Put one foot in front of the other. Keep doing the things that you need to do, regardless of how you feel. And things will get better for you. So I hope that this message helps anybody. Even if it helps one person, then I think this was a successful video. So leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you guys want to see more, and I'll see you in the next one.